So let's look at this from a number of vantage points. So you are very willing to come in and do this speech like you're doing tomorrow, which helps businesses in a very practical way at the level of having other people in a room. This book is attempting to probably be a self-service convenience to a lot of people who may not have the opportunity to see you or the time to hire you. So this would be the first level entry, ease of access, available everywhere approach to Shep Hyken, I would think.
Sure. I mean, isn't that what books are for? I mean, if I'm an individual, I'm not going to go out and hire Joseph Michelli to come and talk to me one-on-one, although maybe I will, because he's a good-looking man, too.
That's true. Thank you for that. I mean, most people don't notice that. Like 99% don't. So thanks, Shep. Go ahead.
But seriously, I mean, that's what books are for, so we can scale the message to a whole nother level, to a whole group of people that might not normally have the opportunity to see one of us in person. And when I do a speech, so on Thursday I'm doing a speech that is all about convenience. I'm going to do the Convenience Revolution speech. And we're going to still set up the whole concept of customer service is important, moments of truth, misery, and magic, which is my take on the three, the concept of Jan Carlson's moment of truth. I have three outcomes. It could be miserable, it could be average, or it could be better than average, a moment of magic. And miserable is a complaint, a problem. It doesn't have to be completely miserable. It's just something that's not even average. And I'll always use that in every speech, and I'll spend 3 to 5 minutes on that. If they hired me this year and they hire me next year, they're going to get that as a review, because from that point, we launch into new material. And this year, for this client, I've worked for a number of times, I'm going to launch into all new material, and it's all based on the convenience revolution. And what it is I've identified the company won't participate in all 6 at this point, but they could, because their competitors, I'll give you an example. It's an automotive manufacturer, and they sell you got dealers in the audience, service and parts people. And there's a company out there called Carvana. Have you heard of Carvana?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I did a thing for Salesforce, and Carvana was one of the test cases of the completely transformative customer experience.
Right. It's a total self-service experience, but they also have a great gimmick, and that's their vending machine. And I just wrote an article, it'll be in Forbes in the next week or two, that Carvana's vending machine is simply a marketing tool. It's pretty cool. Imagine instead of going to a little vending machine and putting your money in and getting your soft drink, you walk up to a 5-story vending machine and you look in the window. It's all cars. And you put your token in, and by the way, you get a token. It's not a little coin. It's not a quarter you're putting in there. It's a token because you bought the car. And, you start to see the vending machine. The thing turns and the car comes out. It's unbelievable. But really, it's a self-service option. One of the things they talk about is we've eliminated the friction. We've even eliminated the salesperson. I don't know how well these dealers are going to like to hear that, but that's what the future could look like for some customers. I just want to go online. I want to pick out my car. I want to buy what I want. So you can go online today with most manufacturers and pick out the specs, the color, the interior, all the special functions that you want on the car. And then take that sheet, go into a couple, 3 different dealers and say, give me a price. I'm going to buy from the lowest price. It's a shame it's gotten to that because it's commoditized, okay? And in the book, I talk about delivery is one of the 6 areas. And there's a car dealership that I'd been doing business with for 22 years. And I switched to another one because they offered the exact same car for actually about the same price, negligible, like they were basically the same price. But they did one thing different. They said, we'll deliver the car to you, and every time you need service, we'll drop off a new car, pick up yours, and bring yours back when it's done. So I thought, wow, would the other one do that? No. Not without charging me more, okay, we'll do it, but only while it's under warranty. Well, what are you putting conditions on convenience? Right. And so guess what? After 22 years, I switched to a new car dealer. And wow. I'm getting ready to buy my 3rd car from them, by the way. In years.
A lot of what I'm talking about exploring and working with is around the idea of optimizing options for people that you can manage. And many of those options are very much completely digital options that remove people altogether. And it is frightening for those of us who've been raised on the notion that people are the service providers. But there are many options. I think most of what I see in relation is hybrid options where I want people on demand. And when I opt human, I want really quality humans. So there's always that training element, messaging around how do you make sure you create people who are fully capable of delivering something that technology may never be able to do, which is what we're doing right now. I mean, we're technology aided. We're not sitting in the same room, but we're also not having computers to spew out algorithms about convenience, right? I mean, it is the human analysis, the human sharing that is a part of that journey, aided a lot by technology.
Yeah, and Carvana is doing that because even though they've eliminated the salesperson, really, if you go to a Carvana location, and now they're up to 11 locations, and now they've gotten a huge influx of venture capital money, which is a really good sign that this works. And what they've done is if you don't, and by the way, they give you options. The options, you can go and pick up the car. If you're from out of town and you don't have a Carvana in your area, they'll give you $200 toward airfare. It's a one-way ticket because you're going to drive your car home. And they'll come and pick you up at the airport. Now, technology is not picking you up. Somebody is. And there's somebody who is actually at the Carvana location who kind of acts as your host and helping you out. So there is that balance of human and technology. And I think a lot of companies don't realize they need to have that. So years ago, to your point, and we'll jump off Carvana, we'll talk about another airline, Delta Airlines, another company. Delta Airlines, really cool airline. They were the actual first company to come out with the online purchase and online check-in for airlines. So one day, this guy comes into my office, really a nice guy. He says, "You're not going to believe I just had the best experience on Delta Airlines." I said, "Well, what happened?" This is, 15, 20 years ago, whenever they first came out with it. By the way, I included them in the book under, I can't remember, I think it was technology. We put them under the technology category for this reason, because now it's the standard in every airline. You should be able to go on and buy it. But they were the first. So guy says, "I bought my ticket. I checked in. I didn't have to talk to one Delta Airlines employee until I got to the actual airplane." And I said, "Is that a good thing? I mean, do you not like the Delta people?" He goes, "Oh, no, I love the Delta people, but they just created the system that's so easy to use." I go, aha, there it is. And he knows that if he has a problem, he can pick up the phone or go over to the counter. And I think today, if we get into this true self-service mode and make it standard like that, when we do need to go to a counter or pick up the phone, we better not have to wait 2 hours. And by the way, that's where the digital AI function comes in today with airlines, that they're getting so much better that as soon as the flight is canceled, they immediately email or text, or however the customer likes to be communicated with, the message: "Your flight's been canceled. Here's 4 other options. Pick one of them. You're protected." And you don't have to go stand in line and do the whole thing like you've had to do all these years. So they're figuring out how to balance the human and digital interactions really well.
Well, my buddy over there, Gareth Joyce, who's the Senior Vice President of Customer Experience at Delta, will be glad to know that you guys are have them in the book, because airlines don't get a lot of love, other than maybe Southwest gets its love. But, Delta certainly has not. But he moved over from Mercedes. So the book that I did about Mercedes, he's now in charge of the customer experience for all practical intents and purposes at Delta. So technologies like the RFID chips on your bags and all of those things that these brands bring along come alongside of all the other things that we've talked about forever about enhancing the experience in the human channel as well. So tell people how they're going to be able to find this book conveniently. Why you would buy the book if you weren't Shep Hyken and already knew what was in it.
Sure. Well, the question is, do you want to separate yourself from your competition? Because companies like Uber disrupted an entire industry with convenience. My car dealership interrupted and disrupted the dealer I'd been working with for 22 years. There's companies out there that are just figuring out how to be more convenient. And I think it's in the business plan, whether you know it or not right now. If customer service is an initiative, convenience has to be factored into that service and experience initiative, or else your competitors are going to out-convenience you, just as many companies have out-serviced others.